I am so sad. I am gutted. Not in the 10 years of buying cars and building cars, this has never happened to me, but I guess there was a first time for everything. As you guys know, I recently bought another Mark IV Supra. This one that I recently bought was from Copart and it was on fire. I saw the photos of it online and I was like, that has a bunch of really good parts on it. But here's the thing with buying Copart cars. You don't really know what you're buying. You can't really get a good idea of what's wrong until you get it in person. I spent $50,000 on this car, which is way too much for a single turbo automatic Supra. I started taking it apart, I went all in, and I lost it all. It absolutely marks the biggest L I've ever taken on purchasing a car. I'm gonna rewind the clock all the way to the start of this morning when we began tearing the Supra apart. Big spring guy. Oh, this was there. It goes.
Oh, that scared the shit out of me.
My favorite tip trick of the day, when you remove bolts for braces, always put the hardware back in all of the threaded spots. It's an easier thing to do rather than just bagging them and putting them to the side. It's a great way to lose hardware. This is something I've been doing for the past few years, and it makes putting things back together so much easier. Now that the exhaust and the drive shaft is removed, now it's time to move on to the automatic transmission. Removing an automatic transmission is actually quite different than removing a manual transmission. Normally, you'll find bolts on the back of a transmission that connect it to the back of the engine, but with an automatic trans, we have to focus on removing the torque converter first. So you'll find there's a window that has bolts, and what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be rotating the engine, and we're gonna be accessing all the different bolts on the torque converter, and then remove that, and then the automatic transmission can come off. Now with the transmission out, we're gonna go ahead and focus on removing the engine. This is gonna be the fun part. As you guys know, this car was a gamble. There was a big risk involved with this car because we way overpaid for just an automatic Supra. The engine bay looked like it was littered with valuable pieces, which could lead to potentially a motor that was built or at least had some good parts on it. And while we were pulling out the automatic transmission, we noticed a few things that caught our eye.
See that green sticker right there? That's an SFI sticker. That to us means race parts.
So this is the sticker that we saw, and it's an SFI. It all has to do with safety spec, making sure that things are safe to race in certain organizations, etc. But also, you'll see atfspeed.com. Now that to me doesn't look like a stock part. And it has us thinking, maybe this could be a built transmission. I don't even know what a stock Supra automatic looks like. I don't know if this is one, maybe if it's not one. I'm sure you guys will let us know down below in the comments. We're gonna have to do some digging online. But what it has me thinking is maybe the other buyer on the other end of the bidding war knew something that maybe we didn't know. Maybe he was a friend of the owner of this Supra, or maybe he was involved in potentially building it. But it is a little bit fishy to think that someone would bid all the way up to $50,000 for a burnt down single turbo JZ. So after looking up atfspeed.com, after looking at the flywheel, we noticed that they also sell transmissions. One of the first things on their homepage is a stage 4 Toyota Supra auto transmission selling at $5,000. And it comes with a bunch of internal pieces and it's rated to 1,300 horsepower. Now I can't find any ATF Speed branding on this transmission, but what has us curious is the transmission that they sell is painted gloss black. The same gloss black that this transmission is coated in. I'm gonna call them right now to see if I can get any information if their transmission comes with certain stampings or any type of physical things that we could see on the transmission to verify if it is from them.
Good afternoon, ATF.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how can I help you?
Good, hey, I'm calling because we have an automatic 2JZ Supra and it looks like it has your trans in it. It has your flywheel on it and it has the ATF Speed on it, so we looked you guys up. But I was calling to see if there was anything that you could let us know that's labeled on this transmission that we could see physically to clarify if it's from you guys, or do we just have to take it apart to see what internal bits are inside?
You'd have to take it apart to see the internals inside. We pretty much don't mark them any longer. We used to mark them with an ATF sticker, and the stickers wouldn't stick to the new paint that we got, so we stopped labeling them.
Okay. And the paint is just like a gloss black all the way from front to back?
Correct, bell housing and all.
Okay, do you know if the bell housing Do they all have the J3 stamping on the top, or is that maybe something that you guys provide?
No, J3 is the type of bell housing that it is.
Okay, got it. And then do you guys recommend running a trans cooler with this setup?
We do. Yes, sir.
Now this is big news for us because our Supra already had a trans cooler installed on the car. So odds are, if they recommend it and our car had it, it could be an ATF speed transmission. Yo, that's kind of good news. We didn't want to take the transmission apart, but now we have to. So if we can find built pieces inside, that will clarify if this is a built transmission selling for $5,000. Oh, it just gets more interesting. Maybe the built parts doesn't stop at the engine and potentially bleeds into the transmission. Is this Supra gonna be the gold mine we hoped it was? Let's pull the engine and find out. So we're noticing as we start pulling stuff apart that there's quite a bit of excess oil. So this had quite a bit of blow-by, which you're probably saying, well, where's this catch can for his blow-by? Well, the catch can was removed from the car when we got possession, just like the ECU. Ian was looking at the layout of what the catch can probably would have been. It would have been somewhere in this corner, which oddly enough comes right through the ABS. And if you look at the ABS, some of the lines are disconnected. So our theory is the catch can line burned through, and that's what touched the downpipe, and the downpipe caught fire. Or maybe in the most extreme case, there was so much blow-by that the reservoir overfilled and then started leaking down and caught something and then exploded. There was all over this downpipe, but there's a lot of blow-by. That's our best guess so far, but we'll keep digging and see if we can find anything else. Oh boy, oh, look at that run down like a little waterfall. You don't want that, I can tell you that much. But I do love that all the AN lines are fitted and welded on there. I mean, it's cool to see that I had that. We can probably reuse some of these AN lines. I want to try and reuse as much as possible on this car. I think it'd be cool to have as much original parts. Obviously, we're gonna build it and make it better, but it will be cool to see some of the older parts still coexisting with the new parts. Remember in the intro of the video, I said that I've been doing this for 10 years? Well, I'm actually not joking when I say that. Coming up on this Friday, it's going to mark the official 10-year anniversary of making car videos on YouTube. I have something dropping this Friday on huntandcompany.com that is literally dedicated to you guys. Thank you. We are dropping a hoodie, a t-shirt, and a poster. Now this design is literally dedicated to each and every one of you that have been watching throughout the last decade. I still remember like it was yesterday that we were in Calvin's parents' garage learning how to install exhaust on BRZs. It's all gone by so fast, and this whole entire drop is dedicated to you guys. We also have a poster that there's only 250 of them, and I have individually autographed every single poster, and Calvin has even signed some of them as well. All of this is gonna be available this Friday, March 8th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so set your clock, set your reminder, because these things are gonna go fast. Now with the engine coming out, we're gonna be able to see a lot more of what potentially happened and where the fire started. Look how big that wastegate is.
Oh my God.
I've never seen a wastegate that big before.
That's crazy.
That's 2000s right there. That's tight. You all right?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, how's it looking over there? See anything more?
No, I mean, lines are all still good. She's cooked. Yeah, it's just a matter of now time to clean up all the mess. There's a lot of char in the corner of that engine bay. So we're gonna wipe all that out, clean all the stuff. It'll give us a much better look at the condition of this bay. And then as far as the engine, with just like the first glance, I think our guess of the catch can having some sort of leak is the source of the fire, because there's no holes, there's no pinches.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's smoked, bud. Rear main seal, looks like it's been recently replaced too. Bet you when they did that trans job, the rear main seal got done. With the engine out, we're gonna go ahead and clean the engine bay just to get it back to factory looking, because it's full of junk and ash. While that's getting cleaned, Ian went ahead and started disassembling the transmission, because if you remember earlier, we suspected that we could have a $5,000 stage 4 transmission, which would be a huge win for us. As he was disassembling it, he was soon to realize that this was not filled with the billet internal bits that we had hoped for. Maybe it's their stage 2 transmission. We're not ultimately sure, but we are gonna figure that out and we'll keep you guys updated with that. But to make matters worse, while the engine was out, we went ahead and did a compression test. Now, our air compressor was not hooked up at the time, so we did not use this for our compression test. We actually just rotated the crankshaft and used our ear. And what we found on cylinder 6 was about the worst thing we possibly could have imagined.
Yeah, normal. Gives me a good fight. Nice.
Now cylinder 6.
Now it's cylinder 6.
2.
Damn.
Ew. 2. 6.
6 is
2.
weak. Now, if you're not following along, let me try and explain this to you. Here's a drawing of a cylinder with a piston and rod. You have your piston, you have your rod, you have your whole entire cylinder, and you have your piston rings. When the crankshaft is rotating, the pistons are going up and down between the cylinders. When that is happening, there's pressure being built within the block. If the compression is consistent and even upon all cylinders, you have signs of a healthy motor. But if you're getting low compression on any of the cylinders, that's not a good sign. It is really common to wear out the piston rings on the piston, and when doing this, it creates less pressure within the cylinder and the piston. All of the pressure is escaping through the piston and going throughout the cylinder. It's gonna read a lower number than other cylinders that aren't having this issue. When rotating our assembly, you can audibly hear on 6 that it does not have the same pressure release when the piston is going up and down throughout the cylinder. So now we're gonna take apart the head from the block and we're gonna try to see what cylinder 6 looks like. Odds are, it's not gonna look too good. Yeah, so essentially cylinder 6 has very weak compression. Because we're getting weak compression, we know that there is a malfunction, for lack of better words. This whole car was a gamble. Having what we found so far has been great. And then we come to the engine and we were hoping everything would still be great, and we have found what we think was the actually original cause of the fire. Because as we originally said, we think the overflow got too full because there was so much blow by throughout all the intercooler pipes that we saw that the overflow got so full that it puked out and then started dripping all over the downpipe, which then caught the harness on fire, etc. But now we're taking it one step farther and then now noticing how weak cylinder 6 is. That was probably creating all of the blow by, which then filled up, which then spilled out. So the original cause of the fire was because cylinder 6 said see you later.
It's surefire way.
Yes. Now we're gonna double down for the engine, but it's gonna be more work and more time. So let's pull the head off, let's inspect the piston, and see what it looks like. Damn. Wait. Oh no. Oh. That's bad. Wow. So not only cylinder 6. Oh my God, I didn't even notice. Oh my God.
That's that bouncing around in that, making those dimples.
It
There.
literally goes
Chunk,
on every
chunk.
single cylinder.
And there's our worst one.
yeah.
Alright, so I have to lift this up so all these buckets don't fall out.
First and foremost.
Studs are stuck in the head.
Yeah.
Just so clear. So it's probably warped to some extent. Find me the worst cylinder.
Whoa. This cylinder's really grimy. There's also a lot of contact. Oh my God.
So that's to the point where
So it needs head work.
it's just too expensive. It's just like, do you want this on or off camera?
You can leave it on camera.
New motor. You can salvage a lot of this stuff, but the amount of work, I talked to Ian about it, way more knowledgeable than I am. You have to weld all that up, machine it down. Some people say it messes with the heat treatment of the head. So at this point, since we're down a head, a lot of boring and honing on a block. I mean, it might just be easier for us to go VVTI at this point because we still have time to call Pro Wire. We have an impasse now, a fork in the road. Do we want to go full big bad bitch built, non-VVTI? Do we just want to go stock VVTI? We have time to make the decision, but this motor's not getting put back together.
the gamble has ran out.
Triple down. You're losing more.
We tripled down. And I lost. And that is the story of the biggest financial loss I have ever taken on a car. Now, to put this in perspective for you, all we have at this current moment is a Mark IV Supra with interior and no motor. Everything else is trash. There's no ECU, there's no motor. You can buy a Supra that's NA and automatic for roughly $30,000. Now remember, I spent $50,000 on this. This car with no engine and how it currently sits is probably worth under 20 grand. That's $30,000 that is lost. Poof, gone. Now I'm laughing because that's the only emotion that I know how to show. Now it's time for us to do what we do best, and that's save this thing. I don't know how, but I gotta start with a whole new engine. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next Supra video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my misery, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Peace out, and keep moving forward.